Hi, I'm Suresh Ratan in Aarhus University, Denmark, and the International Society for Physical and Rehabilitation Medicine have asked me to present my views about the issue, is aging a disease or is old age a disease? So in this short presentation, I would like to give you my understanding of this question, which clearly is no, aging and old age is not a disease. How do I drive or arrive at this conclusion is actually after more than 40 years of my involvement in the field of biogerontology through research, through teaching, through supervising, through mentoring, through writing, that what have I understood about the question of aging as such, and how do I arrive at the conclusion that I will not like to consider aging as a disease or old age as a disease. Now, point number one, aging, unlike any disease, happens in all individuals. In all individuals, especially if they continue to survive and live beyond what we call essential lifespan of a species. So according to the Darwinian theory of evolution, every species requires certain duration of time for survival, during which it is born, it grows up, matures, and then reproduces for the continuation of generations. And that period is generally now referred to as essential lifespan, or some of my friends also call it warranty period. So if you live beyond the essential lifespan of your species, then that is when aging sets in. And number two point, that aging, when we use the word aging, that is generally the period and the process of all downhill path ending into death. Now this is a progressive period during which we lose function. There are more impairments at all levels of the body, at the physiological level, at the cellular level, at the system level, at the biochemical and molecular level. It's all downhill path. That's what aging is. Number three, these changes which occur during this period of aging or through the process of aging in our old age, those changes are hundreds of changes have been described, and they generally have all these negative effects, like eventually resulting into loss of function. And those changes, if they happen to cross certain threshold values which have been agreed upon by biomedical scientists, then they can be labeled as a disease. Yeah? Diseases of aging, just like that's basically the definition, or the condition is that if they are beyond certain threshold, and then they can be labeled as a disease. And like you can have diabetes 2, and then you can have osteoporosis, you can have sarcopenia, you can have Alzheimer's disease, you can have Parkinson's disease. But these things are happening in a smaller proportion of the aging group. Whereas aging is still happening. All those things which happen in these disease situations, which are the extreme situations, are happening in the so-called non-disease situation. So aging is the cause of all these conditions which we call age-related diseases, and which need immediate and acute intervention and management and whatever else we can do. So that is the number 3 point, that aging can lead to, or that survival period. And the reason for those things is the life itself. Because evolution does not work on perfect systems. Evolution has not made our maintenance, repair, and defense systems as perfect. Evolution never works on perfect systems. It only works on what works for its end point, like the continuation of generations. So the life itself is imperfect, and that is the cause of aging in many ways. I will explain it a little bit more later on. So most importantly, what I have understood, point number 4 from biogerontology is that evolution has not made perfect systems, so things are allowed to happen if we continue to live beyond essential lifespan. But the beauty is evolution has not made any specific mechanisms either from killing me from within. There are no genes, no gerontogenes which cause aging. Genes are there, hundreds of genes are there for survival, for maintenance, for defense, for repair. But those are not perfect genes. So the beauty of the evolution is it has neither created perfect systems to survive forever, nor has it created any mechanisms to get rid of these systems, to kill the systems. So what comes back is that then we have to deal with aging ourselves. So if you really want to understand the causes of aging, what causes of aging? That's the life itself. Every time I breathe air, I take in oxygen and nitrogen, which inside my system in the biochemical metabolites produce numerous free radicals and other damaging metabolites. Every time I eat food, the sugars in the food and the other components in the food create so much molecular damage at various levels. Every time a biochemical process occurs in our body, those processes are not perfect. They are error prone and they make mistakes at the level of DNA duplication, RNA synthesis, protein translation. And system cannot cope with that because it can only cope for around essential lifespan. So if you want to call aging as a disease, then you have to call life as a disease, because life is the cause of aging and old age. So my position is very clear that I will not like to call aging as a disease from intellectual and biological point of view. Age-related diseases do happen, and like any other disease, those diseases are always happening in certain proportion of the population, which can be from few percent to pretty high percent. But there is, to the best of my knowledge, there is no disease which happens to everybody. So aging which happens to everybody, if we keep living long enough, it is not a disease in my understanding of the phenomenon. Thank you.